Hey, welcome to the Two Time Movies podcast. I'm Cam.
I'm Luke.
And today we have a returning guest, an award-winning guest, and a friend, a peer, an RA, Sheldon Turner Jr. Shells.
What's going on, everybody? Yeah.
Sheldon Turner
I'm
Jr.
here.
Shells, you're back. How do you feel?
Man, I feel so blessed to be back on this profound podcast. Listen, y'all, this podcast right here, it's y'all take it for granted. Y'all gonna miss it when if you don't know what you got until it's gone. That's all I'm gonna say.
Appreciate that, Shells. Appreciate that. But you picked the movie this week. We're continuing our Black History Month tradition of talking about Black cinema. And as my boy Shells, he's been hounding me since August to get back on this podcast. I'm like, yo, we're going to make it happen before I leave. We got him back on, but he chose this movie. So can you explain why?
Well, my thought process going into this movie, which is called Dope. It's actually in its name. It's a dope movie, and
nice.
What it touches on is the youth in the Black community and how so it revolves around a character, I forget his name,
Malcolm.
It revolves around Malcolm and his friend group consists of two other members, and they are known as Geeks, or they are considered different, and they are in the Inglewood area of California, so predominantly Black area, surrounded by violence and all those things that you can think of. And in their group, like I said, they're known as Geeks, and they just like being themselves, even though they just get hate for it. So what my thought process going into this movie is to send a message to the youth that it is okay to be different. You do not need to be like the quote unquote norm. Be yourself.
Okay,
right.
That's a good takeaway. I guess we'll hop right in.
Yeah. I want to know what you kept smiling about every time he said geeks, though.
No.
Hey, I mean,
I was smiling 'cause I didn't know how far you were gonna go because I usually explain the movie and you started. I was like, oh shit. Oh. I don't know. I didn't know how far you were gonna go, but I did like it. But that is a good point. I know we talked about that before. Because Sheldon had another movie he wanted to talk about. It doesn't really matter. Black Klansman. But he said he wanted to talk about this movie for that reason. I just wanted to have him explain it. But like he said, the movie's about three kids, Malcolm, Diggy, and Jib. And like Shell said, they're if I say Shells, it's Sheldon. I'm talking about him. Three geeks, not even geeks. They just have like aspirations in life. Everyone, they want to go to college and get a good job and take care of their family and whatever. They go to a party and there's a shooting. And someone slips drugs, not just someone. It's A$AP Rocky. He goes by Dom.
Drug dealer.
Yeah. He slips drugs into Malcolm's backpack, and Dom wants to find a way to get it back, but Malcolm goes through all these loops to try and get it back, but eventually he's supposed to give it to a specific guy who's also his college. He's trying to go to Harvard, and the person he has an interview with is the person he's supposed to deliver the drugs to. So that becomes a whole conflict on its own. So, and there's a kind of a love thing that goes with it, but that's not a main thing in the story. But we might get to it if we find the need to. So that's pretty much the basis of it. But we can start with Shells. How do you feel about it?
What in particular?
Just the movie.
Just the movie.
Did you like
general
it?
thoughts.
Yeah.
Just general thoughts.
Yes,
I think it is so funny. Even though you are hearing these realistic things about this movie and all of these other controversies about this movie, know that this movie is very hilarious. So I could not find an instance where I was not laughing, and it was just like the comedy of it was just so abrupt, and that's one thing about it. And then another theme I got from it is like there will be so many things that try and come in your way, but being able to navigate through those obstacles and how Malcolm did it. He took something that he didn't expect, he made it into an opportunity. So he took the the whole party situation where they did slip drugs in his backpack and had to get his way through the person he had to meet and interview with. But what he found out, the real of this operation, he took that as an opportunity to get to where he wants to be. So that's the theme of it too. Taking what you can and utilizing it to the best of your ability.
Okay. Luke?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
Let's see. What did I all write down? I know Cam's just immediately assuming that I'm going to start trashing on it.
I'm just waiting to hear what Luke didn't like.
He banks on my like negatives for everything and just like disregards anything that I have to say that's positive.
It's not that. It is not that at all. But
It's a little.
I would like to hear a perspective on what possibly didn't like.
I would too. That's why I'm always curious about it.
I personally would like to hear that too.
What's up?
Good things. I like the acting. I think everybody does a good job.
It's your goat. You like Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
It's your goat.
That's
yeah.
one of the things that I wrote down somewhere. It's just that every time he speaks, I can't help but hear Miles' voice because that's where I heard him first, and I was just like, bro.
Oh, wait, that's him?
That's Spider-Man.
Yeah, Shamik Moore.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
Spider-Man. That's Malcolm. Or
Okay.
Miles. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with what Sheldon said about the humor. It is a very funny movie. I was pleasantly surprised to find myself laughing multiple times. Cinematography, I was also really impressed with.
Okay.
It's not like a huge grand spectacle thing, but it's like minor stuff that makes it good.
Yeah.
I can go more in depth with that later. There's another thing I want to go more in depth with later. As far as things I didn't like, it was probably more just nitpick territory, where it's just like smaller things. Like there's one scene where like Malcolm's like running as like there's a drug dog like going through the school, and the guard like opens the door in front of him, and he like falls over and turns the corner, but then like it cuts and like the guards just walk by and didn't see him.
Oh, yeah.
After he fell right in front of them.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way you didn't see him. But
Oh yeah, when
Yeah.
he had slipped.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes. Like that whole segment. I was like, y'all don't see this.
Yeah.
yeah, so there's just smaller things, but I think that's the bulk of my general thoughts.
Oh, okay. That was gonna be like something else.
Yeah, because you assume the worst out of me.
I don't assume the worst out of you. I'm just.
Cam, what did you like? What did you like about it?
Who said I liked it, Chels?
Oh,
Maybe
what are your what are your thoughts on the
No,
movie?
I really enjoyed it. At one point, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I don't think I'll give it I don't know. It's still hard. It's so hard to give 5s now. But I gave it one at one point. But I really did enjoy it. I like the culture behind it. There's little pieces of it or little dialogue, just like the N-word scene. Those are real conversations. That people need to have.
Oh yeah. I forget her name as well. She's in the friend group.
Jibby? No, that's Jib. Diggy.
Yeah,
Diggy.
Diggy.
And you talking about the scene where they were socializing with the hacker friend of the group.
Yeah.
And
What's his name? Will. Yeah.
Yep. With Will and
They're talking.
yeah, you continue. I know what you're talking about.
It's just stuff like that. Like it doesn't play a big part in the story, but it also reminds you if you're like understand it. Well, not you don't even have to understand it, but those are like conversations that don't need to be had, but just are like kind of important to some people. You know, some people are like, I don't care if you say the N-word. I care if you say I'm gonna smack you. You know, you get violent behind it, so that's pretty cool. I like the music with it. I like all the songs. The World Is Yours and stuff like that. I enjoyed the small cameos in there. Rocky had a big part in that. Vince Staples was in it. Cap G was in it.
Forrest Whitaker's the narrator.
Forrest Whitaker, yeah. Forrest Whitaker, he's in there. It was really it was just a fun movie to watch. And I'm not from LA, but I listen to a lot of West Coast music, and I hear these places that they're talking about, like Inglewood and Rosemont, I think. I don't know if that's a real place, but it's cool to hear that they're using real terms going along with it and culture with it. At the beginning, when we're first introduced to A$AP Rocky's character, Dom, they're bringing Malcolm brings up he likes the 90s era, but he names the Blueprint, which came out in 01. And I remember hearing that, this isn't my first time watching it, but I remember watching it for the first time. Like, Blueprint came out in 2001. He's talking about the 80s or the 90s. So I'm like, he's already tripping. I'm glad they clarified stuff like that. But I know I'm kind of rambling, but I really did enjoy it. I don't think I have many critiques with it, if any. But yeah, I like to start off with the cinematography you said, because I don't know, it seemed kind of normal. I didn't really get any cool things with lighting and stuff like that until the end when he's walking and I don't know, just on the street. But it seemed like everyday, kind of casual to me.
For me, it was more to do with the saturation of it than it was the camera, because like there were bright colors throughout all of it that stood out. So like as they pass through the palm trees, like the green on the leaves stands out. On their shirts, I think they wear yellow a couple times. Like that pops out and stands against like the dull background of like the streets and the urbanization that's there. Yeah, and it makes you pay attention more. But it's not too bright to where it's like, oh, my eyes hurt. Turn that off. Yeah. Like, so I thought that was what.
It's like a smooth day in Cali.
Yeah,
some smooth days in Cali.
It's interesting you said that. I was watching. This is a while ago. I was watching a video about La La Land. And it was either the cinematographer, who I forget their name, or it was the director, Damien Chazelle. I think it's Chazelle. Yeah, and he was just saying, because La La Land's such a bright movie and so many popping colors, but they were saying how if you make everything kind of ordinary and make one thing pop more, that kind of makes it stand out other than that. It just makes it stand out more than typical, if you don't have have a blob of color going on. So I think that's a really interesting point. Sheldon, what you think of just like the atmosphere of it and just how everything's set and stuff like that?
It just reminded me of a Larry June song. But this is I think this was pre Larry June though. This pre Larry June 2015. Did he come? Has he at this point? Has he came out with anything yet?
I think I don't know when he started, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Larry June is an artist. He's real smooth and laid back, but he does rap music.
Cali artist. And you had brought up Vince Staples. I did not. Because this also wasn't my first time watching this movie, but I was. So this is relatively around the first time it came out. So I really didn't know these significant figures like I do now. And so when I look back and see that's Vince Staples, I'm like, oh, that's Vince Staples. The one who got the Vince Staples show. Yeah,
that really good show, by the way. But they had a bunch. They had Tyga was in here. Casey Veggies was in here. Like we said, Rocky.
Zoe Kravitz was here too.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. I think that's just all the rappers. Or Rick Fox. He's not a rapper, but.
Oh, because he was.
Wait, keep going.
No, because Rick Fox was the CEO or whatever.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
I think Quincy Brown, he's in here. That's Diddy's kid.
Yeah, we got a lot of all stars.
Yeah, a bunch of like cool cameos. But Vince Staples, he didn't have a big part. He was at the birthday party and he was in Rocky's crew. And they had little cameos in there too. Like when Dom first goes to the admissions office and they had a picture of Rocky and they had a picture frame of Rocky. Yep. And those aren't random people. That's literally his ASAP mob. You see pictures of ASAP Nash and ASAP Nash. He said Ferg. He was in there. Yep. And the whole crew ASAP mob, and that was really cool. And he had a V-Lone t-shirt on at the end of it, or at some point in it. Tough. I know V-Lone's kind of out of style now, but back then V-Lone was like, everybody, man. People pose backwards to show the V, but just little stuff like that that's been important to the culture, and I really had I don't know, just cool seeing little stuff like that.
So what do y'all think about the style of the movie? Like the wardrobe and
yeah, I thought it was all executed really well. It all felt very authentic. It wasn't like too digitalized and not fake, but artificial, I guess. Like everything feels real, tangible. Yeah, I was vibing with it.
I think it was really good for the time. And I because what was it? What you say? 2015,
2015.
Yeah, that's when people were just being loud with stuff and obnoxious. But we don't really get that anymore. I feel like more it's like you get brands and stuff, but well, actually, you didn't really get that in this movie. Everyone kind of had their own thing.
Their own thing. You didn't have to have a label just pop up in front of your face.
Yeah, so I'm kind of just saying anything, but you know, because you have the geeks and they had like their overalls, and there's nothing really bad about it. You wouldn't. I don't think I'd look at them and say you're a geek. Maybe by that fade, you know.
That high top fade was.
It was something. And when he got a cut at the end, when he shaved it all off, he ain't even have a straight line. So I'm kind of confused about that.
And I thought the barber was gonna get him right.
You know?
I mean, it's prom.
Yeah.
Barber did him dirty.
You know what I mean? He didn't even have a cool lineup. But yeah, I wasn't really messing with that. But
I have a question for you.
Yes.
About the music.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Oreos band?
Oh, the hold on. That's something I didn't like. The lip syncing was like really bad.
Yeah, and none of that was my thing too. It was like I didn't notice the lip syncing as much, but I noticed the audio quality of it where it's like that does not sound like any of them.
No.
It sounds so pre-recorded.
Yep,
and then there's like another scene in the movie where somebody else is singing. I think it's the guy at the counselor or whatever the guy's house is with the sister and the brother, where they show up and he's like has his own like recording studio and he starts singing and it sounds like him because he is singing. So the lip sync on the rest, I was not vibing with that. It was
I noticed that early on. Whenever the first song came, I'm like, this isn't you. And I mean, it makes sense, but it just wasn't. It sounded too good. It sounded like I know you made this. In the studio.
It did sound a little too good. I actually did catch that. Yeah, thank y'all for pointing that out to me. I'm gonna have to go back and recognize that.
I wish. If they were to do it the whole time, I wish one point when they didn't do it was at the beginning when we're first introduced that they make music. Like,
because it immediately sounded.
Because you're in high school, you're not supposed to make great music. You're supposed to just make whatever you like. And I wish they didn't do that. But
and they could have gotten better over time.
You know, if we kept going with that, if we followed that plot, but we didn't. But I mean, that's not a big thing. But I just wish they didn't do it. How do we feel about the entire kind of how we just go wherever with the plot? You know, we start off with him at a party, and then we're supposed to hand it off to this guy, hand it off to that guy. Oh, but you're the admissions guy, you know. And then we run into this random house, and the sister's trying to get intimate with me. You know, so how do you think it's random? Do we enjoy it?
Man, like who does he want to love? That's what I was. Does he want to love that the guy's sister, or does he want to love the one he was supposed to go to for Dom? Is it Don or Dom?
Dom with an M.
Yeah. Dom. Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of just whoever's in line. Honestly,
who like me, I like you.
Yeah, Malcolm. Okay. Yeah, Malcolm came off as like a down bad, horny teenager, basically, and was like, "Hey, man, if you're there, hit me up, baby." Like, I don't know, man. I was like. Yeah, and then it didn't help that like the sister from that family is just casually nude for the entire movie, pretty much.
And then she gonna publicly pee out.
Like, like it's nasty. And then like you're there with your brother too, like bro, cover up. I was like, bro, I don't want to know what the two of you were doing before we showed up.
That was abrupt too.
Yeah.
Like that.
Even the brother acknowledged it. Like the first line of dialogue he has to her is like, bro, why you open the door without clothes on? I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like put some on.
I don't know. Maybe that's LA thing. Girls are just like that.
I don't know.
She's a model too.
She is a model.
Yeah, that used to be A$AP Rocky's ex, so maybe his girlfriend at the time. So I wonder if he just kind of pulled. I think.
Wait, they were together?
Because you know,
I'd have to do my research too.
Yeah,
because I see her type. She like football players.
You peeped that?
I'm telling you.
I saw that too. She just got divorced.
Yep. But she's married again now. She got married again in 2024 and then got the divorce in 2023 with another football player.
Shells knows ball.
So
she I forget Chanel Iman. I think that's how you pronounce
something. Yeah. I know that's her last name.
But I wonder if that's how she got that role because Rocky kind of pulled her in. But who's he trying to love? He's trying to love who love him. But I really think he wants to do it with the sister, but he wants to love ASAP's first girl from the block. But how do we feel about her storyline? You think she's needed? Is she a good plot, good love story?
Because she already, like, she dropped out of high school. Because I heard something about her what is it called? GED?
Yeah.
GED, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, she fills it out later. That's like the homework that Malcolm helps her with is for the GED exam.
Yeah, I thought GEDs were just for prisoners.
No,
GED is for like
you drop out, try and get back in.
It's an equivalent of like a high school diploma.
Okay.
So you don't if you don't go through the like high school, or I don't know about like grade in elementary schools, but specifically high school, like if you complete the exam and you pass it, you get an equivalent of a high school diploma.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know if she dropped out or not, but
yeah, but I don't know. I don't hate her presence. What's her name again? Nakia, I think. Zoe Kravitz's character. I don't hate her presence. It does feel a little odd at times where like she'll show up and I'm like, okay, there's going to be a romance subplot, and then we're going to go stare at a naked woman pee in a public space for 5 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I don't care. And then it cuts back and she's still just kind of there, and there's not like hardcore development. I feel like it's just the same thing. It's like, oh, well, maybe. Bye. And then they disappear. And then like the ending like tries to fix some of that and like make a hardcore ending, but she like stands him up to prom and is like, oh, bye, and then leaves again. And I was like, I don't know.
She wanted to go to Six Flags though.
Yeah, but like you stood him up at prom, man.
Okay, so the plot is kind of confusing because I don't know how. Remember when Malcolm got that first call about where to deliver the package to?
Yeah, with the car.
Yeah, with the car. But then it's like a tracker on them, and then like I don't know how all that was working out. So that I was confused on that part as well. Cause did he like
the tracker? I thought was like the Find My iPhone thing, which is why the phone was on the bus.
Yeah,
afterward.
that was the I think that was the phone Dom threw in the book bag with him because they could call.
Oh,
but then
they started tracking it and they didn't want to get caught, so they just left on the bus.
Yeah, and then I think the people that called first like disappear after that. I don't remember them coming back into the plot, tracking them down again.
No, because then they were at that restaurant.
Oh, yes, that's true. They are at the
and
restaurant.
That's why I'm so confused because, like, if that the CEO's son, like, he has to know about this operation, like, somehow, and they're coming at the CEO's son, and it's a shootout and everything, and then he getting chased by the police. Like, we don't even know what happened to him. Like, it's just a lot of...
I know what you're talking about, and I thought it was interesting because it might just be because where you're from, but we get that scene where they're all on the bus and everyone just passes each other, like the Bloods passed the people they was just shooting at. Malcolm passes the guys that were trying to jump him in high school, and they all just kind of rocking together. So I just thought that's how everything was. Everyone kind of just, we all in the same area. We all know what it is. We know who shoot who. We know who shot who if someone dies, you know? That's kind of just how I thought of it. So I think they all kind of not get along, but we're all just in this environment, so we got to make the best of what we do kind of thing. I know we don't get a concrete ending, but
I think that's what they wanted to do for this, not necessarily make it a crime on crime kind of.
Yeah, I think it could be good for like world building, but some of those plot points, like you said, it does make it a little confusing.
Yeah.
I keep saying I think.
What do you know then?
What do any of us know?
Shit, you're right.
Zoe Kravitz. What was I gonna say? What were we talking about? We were talking about her before.
Like how we felt about her involvement, her presence in the film.
And this whole the romance aspect. Like we don't have a backstory on her and Dom.
He the drug dealer. You know, you want the pretty girl. The drug dealer get the pretty girl on the block.
Yeah.
But then
you're right.
Oh yeah. So you know, we don't get a concrete ending with that. I think I'm getting the benefit. I give the movie a lot of benefits of the doubt because it's high school, so no one really has anything figured out. We're all trying to just
make it.
I was trying to make it. I want to go to college. I want girls. You take whoever you can get, and he getting some chicks out of his league. Not well. Let me not say I don't like people saying girls are out of their league or vice versa, but he's getting some pretty girls.
Some girl. You can just say girls he didn't think he could get.
And
girls he didn't think he could obtain.
Yeah, and he's bagging that, and we never get like I said, an ending on what happens, but I'd like to say he got her at the end. Did we say we didn't get a concrete? He kissed her.
Yeah. So yeah, they had their happy ending.
Is she too old for him though? Like that's what I was.
I mean, he could be 18.
It's up for interpretation. They don't say her age, and you can fill out a GED like literally whenever. So.
Yeah, but she's dealing with a drug dealer, and she's already been out of high school long enough to go get a GED. So
I mean, think of the CEO's daughter. She got to be
21
old.
plus.
She's definitely older.
Yeah. So.
If we want to talk about that, you a victim.
You're a victim.
Yeah, but I got some deeper thoughts if we want to get into that.
What's up?
I got a few here we can put down. Man, where do I want to start with it?
Anywhere.
Just throw it.
Yeah, I'll work my way towards the ending, I think.
Okay.
First one is that, there's a lot of talk in the first few scenes, through the hallways of the high school, where that group of other bullies or different gang that's picking on Malcolm and his friends keep talking about this white shit that they keep doing with, oh, you're studying, you want to go to college, yada, 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 yada. And I don't know, I feel like that is, a recurring message that I feel like I've been seeing in recent years, where it's, contrasts in that community between what is supposed to be the norm kind of thing, and then versus how this film classifies it as the white shit, what people perceive that they want you to do kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then that further came up again, even at the Super Bowl, when Kendrick was playing and Samuel L. Jackson was dressed up as Uncle Sam and was personifying America. And it's yeah, that's nice and slow. That's what we want. That's what the people want. And then Not Like Us plays. And as a contrast of yeah, we're not going to do that. We're going to do our own thing kind of thing. So what we think about that and doing doing your own thing more so than what people want you to do.
Want me to go first? You got it.
Go ahead, host. You start off. I'll pitch in after you.
I loathe that whole something's supposed to be white or black or that's or whatever color, ethnicity, race, whatever. I loathe that because nothing is really anything, I don't know, a t-shirt.
You can't act like that bottle of Vaseline.
You know what I mean? You can't,
Yeah.
that's the shirt I'm wearing. Oh, that's some white people.
Are you a kid?
You know what I mean? Or it's a t-shirt. I mean, I don't like that. Or white people music. There's no such thing. I don't like hearing this white people music. It's all music. It's under one umbrella. And I think I really go back to what Sheldon was saying earlier, that you don't need to conform to anything because of what society says. And this is kind of coming from experience. I won't go into any specific problems, not problems, just any interactions I've had regarding this topic. But I just hate hearing that you need to be a certain way and be a product of what you're from or whatever race you are, because if that's the case, then everyone's basic and everyone's kind of boring. If I'm supposed to be anything, it's what, if you were raised in a in poverty, you're supposed to look a certain way, smell a certain way, be only this smart, but then you turn out a whole different way. You present yourself differently, and you look a certain way and act a certain way. Then you shift the narrative about anything, and that makes people change their perspective on everything. And shows. I can keep. I'm
gonna let you land. I'm gonna let you land, and then I'm gonna pitch in
because I can keep talking forever.
Look. So I had watched whose podcast is it? It's with Matt Barnes.
Paul George.
No, Matt Barnes. somebody else is on there, but they have a podcast, and Mike Epps was on there. And I love how this is connected too, because this touches on the topic of the African American community being like having this crab in a barrel mindset, where you have crabs in a barrel. These crabs are trying to get out of this barrel. They're trying to make it out. They're trying to they're trying to see the light. They're not trying to be in this conclusive and not so excluded environment. They want to be in an open world, and they want to be in a better environment. So in art, and like it's mostly in our community too, because I see it countless times, numerous times, where we see somebody trying to strive and thrive and get out of the certain environment that they are in, but then you have their same people just trying to string them on down and making sure they don't get the upper hand and getting out of this barrel before they do. And so I wanted to connect that to Mike Epps talking about when Mike Epps first got started with his acting career. He wasn't the actor he is now. He wasn't renowned as he is now. He wasn't the comedian he was now. And so he talked about how when he did his movies like Next Friday, and how Ice Cube got him on All About the Benjamins, he talked about how throughout the production of All About the Benjamins, he would be high. He would be doing certain drugs that wasn't great for his well-being, and he would only, and he said that Ice Cube would see him under this what do you say?
Like under the influence?
Under this influence that he needs to be under this drug, and Ice Cube would just be like, man, you don't need to be doing that. So Mike Epps thought, okay, I don't have to do this around him. But he said that made him feel sad, because then when Mike Epps would go back to his environment or his home, he would hang around a certain guy he always looked up to, even when he was growing up as a man. He looked up to this guy, and this guy would not be the best influence on his life. So he would do drugs around him. And so the only way he knew he could make this certain influential person happy for what he's doing in his life is if he succumbed to doing drugs, which Mike Epps said that was a roller coaster for him. And it's just like, if Mike Epps wasn't under this influence, then the guy would be upset at Mike Epps. He would not appreciate the things that he's doing. And so that's just all connected in this crab in the barrel mentality. And I know I had created a poem about it. And it's just it's such a steep and in-depth mentality that is crucial in our community. And if it'll come to an end is a great question. So I'll land the plane there. But that's what it really falls under.
I think me and Shells could talk about that forever. And it's rooted too. Like that's not just our generation. It's from generations before us that have probably had it harsher. But like I said, we can talk about it forever. Luke, what's your next question?
These like last points that I have still all flow into the same topic and like into each other. But with like that kind of talk about like what you are meant to do or like supposed to do versus like what you want to do and be like your own person kind of thing. There's a scene later where Malcolm pulls a gun on the bully. Mm-hmm. His hands like twitching. Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of like symbolic, saying that like if you go down the path that people want you to go down, it could lead you to certain dangerous places. But if you go down the path that you want to go down, you could end up in that situation where Malcolm's giving like that final monologue where he's like, there are two kids. They're both practically the same on their applications, but they're just the one that's like a really studious student. The other one's a drug dealer by night kind of thing. Yeah. And he's like, between my life, I've been perceived as both kind of thing. And so there's that other side of the coin where if you do the thing that you want to do, you can go through and do what you want and like achieve great things.
I'm kind of confused. Is there a question? Or you just throwing it out there?
Just throwing it out there.
As far as the gun pulling, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You keep beating me, I can't whoop you no more. That's what they made guns for. You know?
That's what he did. He said, "Man, I'm not with this. Here,
and
leave me alone."
He tipped his hat off to him at the end. You gotta do what you gotta do. But other times it ain't gonna go down like that. You pull a gun. Well, I'm not gonna say me, but
you pull a weapon out.
They gonna
start.
Like, you got it for right there. Next time I catch you though, it might not go down the same way. But we just seen the positive end of it. But I want to talk about that monologue he had at the end. We can talk about that later. We can get your point. We can see what you got to say
about that. That whole segment
Mm-hmm.
with the pulling of the weapon.
Yeah.
He was just fed up. He was just like,
yeah,
you gonna get on me? He's just trying to. He was put in a situation he did not ask for.
Mm-hmm.
He was forced in this situation. And even though this is kind of like I would say this is kind of quintessential in movies like this, where you have the characters of like the quote unquote geeks, and they're just trying to fit in just the teensy tiny bit, and then they'll wind up in some type of environment like a party or a social hour setting, and then it's just like that's the plot. Now their life is presumably interesting where it's not their normal. And so with that, he was just fed up. So he was like, and I'm just trying to do what I gotta do. You gonna come at me here, you gonna take this, or you gonna leave me alone. And that's why he was like,
you got it. But you took my threes too. Let's not forget that. He took the fire reds at the beginning of the movie. One shoe when he lost his shoe. So
oh yeah.
Off that alone, I'm liable to pull a gun out.
Yeah.
They was fresh too.
He had it now.
Yeah. Was they fire reds? Or were they powder blue joints? I think he had this. I think he got this. It was some threes. I remember that.
Jordan 3s?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Jordan 3s.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was fly though. He had the blue pair too. It was fly in that movie. You got any more?
Where are they parents?
Mom's a bus driver.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's right.
She driving buses like really late in the night too, though.
Yeah. Yeah. She probably got no choice. They gotta make it.
They gotta make that living. So yeah.
What did I write down? Oh, last thing is most for me to ask anyway. Is mostly just kind of a open-ended question based on the ending of the monologue. Do we think he got into Harvard? Yes or no? I think he did.
Yeah, I think he did.
I'd like to say he did.
That personal essay was...
That was fire. I was listening to that and I was like, bro, he cooked. I was like, this is really good.
Y'all ever seen that Everybody Hate Chris?
Yeah, partially.
The ending of it? You remember?
Remind me?
He was going to... Oh, no. It was... Oh, stop.
Because I thought Everybody Hates Chris didn't really have an ending.
It had one. I think he was going to college, and I think if I remember correctly, it mirrored The Sopranos when they were at... Have y'all seen The Sopranos?
Yeah, where they're at like the restaurant.
Yeah, they're at the restaurant, and he was going to open his admissions paper, but then it just cuts to black. I believe that's how it ended. Don't quote me. 75% quote me. I believe that. But I do think he got into Harvard.
Yeah.
And I loved his monologue because I forgot. I thought he was going to go with the route of, all right, what race is this one and what race is that one? When you said close your eyes. He said picture them. I thought he was going to be like, it's one white or one black. But I like how we went with they're both kind of me. And I loved his ending. If I was white, would you even have to ask why I want to go to Harvard?
Did he really put that in there?
Yeah, he wrote it on the Word document. At the very end, he was, the
Yeah.
last line, if I was white, would you really even have to ask that?
Can I just say what I feel? I feel like if somebody really wrote that, they not getting it.
Yeah.
Who you think you are telling me if I was white? We don't know who you are.
Like I feel like if somebody did that in real life, they probably would get it.
Probably not. But for the plot, I think it was.
But for the plot, that was dope.
That was a short essay, though. Say that much.
But for the plot,
Oh, yes.
was it as the movie says? Dope.
Was it dope?
Oh, that's another thing too. So was the era of this movie present of 2015, or was it like 90s? Sometimes there were certain points where I couldn't tell, because if you paid attention, remember his first personal essay when it was about Ice Cube, Today Was a Good Day? At the top, he had the date, and it said 19. It was like November something, 1988.
Where?
I didn't even notice that.
Like, and I was like so confused. I'm like, so what is the time and place? What is the time and date of this, like, setting of this movie supposed to be? Like, is it supposed to be present, or is it back in the day?
I don't think it was present day 2015, because the phone that they track through the Find My iPhone thing is not like an iPhone. It looks much older.
No, I said iPhone though. They threw the word in.
They
I know they said the word, but when you look at that phone, it's not like an iPhone.
When they did Find My iPhone, on the
Yeah,
app,
like they,
it wasn't like.
yeah, like they have the tablet and the app and stuff, and that's not it. But then like the phone that's there is not. It's not like a flip phone, but it's like that one that has like the slide up thing and like the keyboard under it. Yeah.
Kick start
like
maybe.
a BlackBerry.
Yeah, kind of like
Yeah,
that.
like a BlackBerry.
Like that's the phone that's there, but they're using Find My iPhone.
Yeah, I don't know. It's some things. It's just confusing.
Maybe
about
they
the
just
movie.
didn't think about
Maybe they
it.
didn't have continuity. I think it's present day.
It got to be, because it's present cars and
Yeah, and it's not the 90s, because they already had the Blueprint 1, which came out in 01.
yeah.
Or they just had the Blueprint.
And
Yeah,
they were
so
listening to music that was much more newer. So
and they
it
had
couldn't have been.
Amazon too.
Yeah, Amazon
Yeah, I
wasn't
don't know.
really around. Like,
I
I
And
don't
then they
know.
had the internet too, so like full on internet, not like just the partial like.
And Bitcoin.
yeah,
Yeah, so they're present day. That got to be present.
maybe he just had an older phone. Maybe, but
Maybe
that doesn't
I'm
I'm
explain
just
the
stuck
tracking,
on
so I don't
that
know.
personal
Yeah.
essay where it, because Today Was a Good Day did not come out in 1988.
Yeah,
So that's why I was confused. The date said like something
19.
month, day, 1988.
That's a good catch. Yeah, I don't.
If y'all do go back, y'all will see that, please, and then just like touch base on that with me.
Day was a good day.
Well, that's all the things I wanted to discuss.
I wanna ask y'all something.
Yes,
Have
sir.
y'all ever been in a situation where, it was like an obstacle that came, that just came crashing into y'all life, and then y'all had actually utilized that obstacle as an opportunity? Have y'all ever had an occurrence like that?
It's a good question.
That's bigger than the movie.
It's deep.
Let's see.
Dope.
Let's see.
He said it.
An obstacle. He did say it.
He said.
I think for me, the one that I think is probably most impactful for me is when I moved from Shelbyville to Charleston and started junior year in high school here, because that's when I started, like once I got here and got kind of situated into the school there and figured everything out, I was in the like journalism class they had there, and it was still small. There was like, I don't know, 10, 12 people in it, if even. And then from there, Olivia Bennett was a senior at that time. And then she came here for an internship at WEIU and did a bunch of stuff. And now she's off with, what's the...
True Crime? True Blue?
Yeah. And the Chris Hansen guy over there doing a bunch of cool stuff. And then my senior year, I did an internship at the Den and then graduated early and then worked from that time and racked up some tuition money and then came here, and I've been here since, and I'm news editor now, so I think that would probably be it, because moving here was kind of difficult. I've not had to do that before.
Move.
So, yeah, so, like, because I'd been at Shelbyville, like, since
All
I
your
was
life.
born. Yeah, so I was, like, coming into a new spot, didn't know anybody, didn't know anything, and so trying to, like, re-navigate and relearn things that back at Shelbyville was just, like, second nature kind of thing.
I know it's a deep question. I know.
I think I got one. I don't know. How
You don't got to
deep I
get too personal. It's just
Yeah.
like a general.
I think I was going through a hard time my sophomore year. Don't want to go into depth,
Yeah.
but I was going through a hard time, and my mom probably gonna call me after this. Shout out to my mom though. It's her birthday today.
Hey, man, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
My mom's birthday. I called her earlier. By the time it'll come out on Friday, but I was going through a hard time my sophomore year, and I don't think I feel like I didn't have a resource to go to, and it was just a lot of work I had to do. And I'm just like, gosh, I don't know what to do. Everything's caving in on me. And then I just thought like, I kind of just like, all right, let me suck it up and just, this is what I chose to do. I chose to be in this position. I chose to go to college. I chose to be wherever I'm at. Let me just shut up and just get the work done. And I think that my sophomore year had the most impact on my career as a college student. And it got me to where I am today and the opportunities that I've been given. I want to keep it very vague. Mom, do not worry. I'm straight. But we'll leave it at that. Sheldon, do you have anything?
Man, it's so many. It's so many occurrences. I'll say more recently, not recently, but I'll say like even around this time last year, like last spring, it was unknown. At the time, it was unknowingly like my life was kind of like just caving in. Just caving in, and I wasn't putting that like hurting and very crucial energy in the right places. And the moment I learned how to put that like agonizing pain of energy into the right places, then I like you said, I wouldn't even be where I am right now. Like, so you know how you have like Naughty by Nature, the group, the music group.
Yeah.
So I got this calling that's I call it Fluent by Force, where it's just the way I approach life and the way I articulate myself. I kind of say it was by force. Like I had to be this way. I had to be this way.
Okay.
Because if it wasn't for me being this way, then I probably wouldn't be here.
Here as in? Just
here. Like talking on this. I wouldn't be able to come up with the words to even speak to you two.
Okay, I'm glad you meant that way. I thought you were like a lot.
No.
I was like, shows. I was down the hall.
Like, man, just, yeah.
Okay.
It's deep.
Glad you're here, shows.
Yeah.
Very much so.
There anything else?
Any other? I don't have any.
I'm out. Are you guys got anything else? Are we good for ratings, we think?
I will say, based off of that, tough times don't last. Tough people do. And you see we're all here. I think we can all give our testimonials to that phrase. But regarding the movie, though, you go first, Shells.
Final thoughts on the movie?
Final thoughts, rate. What's your rating out of 5?
And what, like, how do you rate a movie? What we rate? Well, like, what goes into the point system?
So, there's not. So it can pretty much go on your own. But if I have to put it into like simple terms in like 2 minutes, it's like 5 being the best. You could give it a 0 if you want to.
Oh no!
I have a rating scale that I use for everything. So if this helps,
let me see. All right.
That's how I classify things off that for nerdism and Two Dudes and Den and all the jazz, all the places.
If you want a simple, well, I'll let you read that first.
It is pretty.
Actually,
simple.
I don't know what your rating is. I don't know. I've never seen it.
I'll show you. It's
our guest Rob, old guest, first season guest. He does it out of 9.
Why out of 9?
He does it out of 9, so we can classify them into thirds. 1 to 3 being bad, 4 to 6 being good, 7 to 9 being good or great.
Great,
yeah. That's how Rob does it.
I don't know about that.
So
I still get mad whenever AP's like Associated Press's Entertainment rates it out of 4 stars and not 5, and I'm like, guys, add another star. Like
I give it like the range of 4 and 5. If we doing it out of 5, I'll say I'll say 4 or 5 because like it was just funny. I love comedy and it was real.
What'd you just say? 5?
I was 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
4 to 5.
4 to 5. Okay.
4 to 5. Yeah.
4.5. Will we do that?
In the middle.
4.5.
4.5.
I'll give it a 4.5.
Okay.
And I'm looking past the little nuanced things.
Yeah. Okay.
Just the overall overview of that movie and the message it wanted to deliver. The acting was amazing. It wasn't a boring watch.
know
Like I was able to watch the whole thing, sit through it, and man, I enjoyed it. And it said Pharrell was the executive producer too.
That was fire. I love Pharrell.
Yeah.
Love Pharrell.
So I saw that. I was like, but they also said Sean Combs was the executive
Yeah,
producer
we don't.
too.
I know I brought him up. I brought up his kid, but no worries about that guy.
So I know they was having
yeah.
some parties.
Luke, ratings.
Come on, Luke.
I think a 4 out of 5 is reasonable.
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, bro. I
Yeah.
don't want you to think like I hate you because of your ratings. They're just funny. They're just fun to hear. But 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I
okay.
think it's 4 or 5. I like the acting. The saturation on the cinematography is good. I think the only things that really drag it down are just some of those little tiny nitpicks
Yeah,
that stack
those
up too
little
much, and then
things.
some of the ear itches, like plot discrepancies.
Mhm.
No, inconsistencies. Sorry, that kind of stack up and drag that star off for me.
Okay. I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5.
Okay.
Uh,
So we all on the same page.
yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
There's not much. And I think it's because I rewatched it too many times. At one point, I gave it a 5, and the more I watch things, I kind of like it's not the same.
Didn't
after
give it the
you know
benefit
what I mean?
of the doubt.
You know,
Yeah.
Like there's only a couple movies I can rewatch and be like, this is a 5 every single time. Dark Knight trilogy, but yeah, I think I've just watched Dope too many times, and which is why I really don't rewatch movies. I think I said that earlier. But I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5. There's not much wrong with it, but it didn't have that imprint on me like other movies do that I give 5s to. But with that, I think we're gonna call it. Sheldon, Shells, my guy, my brother. Shells, thank you for coming back on,
Yes,
man.
sir.
it's
Thank
been
y'all
fun.
so much.
Really appreciate it. This has been really fun. I think this is a very insightful conversation. Yeah, we're gonna continue our Black History Month coverage of movie. Got 2 more weeks, I think.
1 or 2,
1 or 2. How many more weeks?
because I think we've got one episode
we
with
got-
just us and maybe one other guest, I believe.
Yeah, I think next week is just us. Next week is just us, I believe, and then
Just the
24.
2 of us.
Just the two of us.
thank you all for watching. This has
Thank you.
been the Two Dudes Talk Movies podcast. I'm Cam.
I'm Luke.
And I'm Sheldon.
He's Sheldon. And we'll see you
Shells.
next week. Thank you for watching. Have a good night or have a good day. Bye.
Peace.